It's Wake Up in the Den. I'm Kule Agbayani alongside Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, HawaiiSportsRadio.com. And we are doing a special Aloha Friday live stream on our YouTube channel because it's a Aloha Friday celebratory post-Christmas, post-Hawaii Bowl pom-pom party. Woo! Would you guys expect anything less? So we're like, we got to go on YouTube. We got to keep the party going. Hope you guys did have a very good Christmas day. And I know majority of you guys that tune into the show had a very lovely Christmas Eve and just kept the party rolling to Christmas Day. Had a good one with friends, family, or whoever, even if you're just spending the time just to yourself, man. Like, I hope everyone enjoyed their Christmas and it was relaxing or it's just a good time. And we want to continue the party from the Hawaii Bowl Christmas Eve. I'm pretty sure that'll be majority of what our conversation is going to be about for the next 2 hours. So thank you guys for tuning in live from 8 to 10 every single weekday or on our YouTube channel, usually every single Monday for sure. And as it has been this past week, because there has been a kind of a big game that happened a couple of days ago. This is our third live stream of the week. We're just getting, getting set to potentially maybe do the live stream every single day. So we're just practicing. So we did three days this week. Next week, we're planning to do 2 live streams. Yes, on Monday and then on Wednesday for New Year's Eve, ending off the year of 2025 with all of you beautiful people. But hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. And yeah, Paul, how are you doing on this post-Christmas day? And did you have a good Christmas, my friend?
Yeah, I'm feeling holly jolly, full of cheer. I don't know what else you could ask for. It's very, very exciting on this Aloha Friday that we get to celebrate. And listen, this was always going to be a celebration one way or another, where it was either about a great season for the Rainbow Warriors that finally had come to a close, or a really great season for the Rainbow Warriors that includes a championship at the end, the Hawaii Bowl champions, the best game that we could have asked for. And then I went into Christmas. I got the entire morning to myself, so I got a chance to put together our apartment. And then my wife and I had a lovely rest of our evening, got to call home and chat with my family for a bit. And I got a lovely gift from you, where I have some more paraphernalia that has our logo on it, and that's something that I am always looking for. And I also have this new Apple Watch courtesy of my wife.
Look at you.
So, I'm upgrading things moving into 2026. Things are pretty good for me, and things are even better for the Rainbow Warriors. So hopefully things are great for our viewers, our listeners, for you as well, and everybody's families, friends, and everyone else had as great a Christmas as Christmas Eve was.
Yeah, it didn't even feel like, we always need Christmas, and we enjoy celebrating Christmas, right? But it felt like, I think Mike and I were just like, all right, well, we already got the best Christmas present any of us could have asked for.
I watched the game again.
Me too. I watched the game. Well, I actually watched the game. We got home, so we were celebrating with some of the coaches as well after the game. And then
flex.
We got... and by coaches, I mean one of the coaches being the volleyball coach, too. It's a coaching party. But then, we went home, and then I just still couldn't sleep. And it was kind of late by the time we got home, even though the game ended relatively early for the most part. Maybe our friend in Boise got a chance to go to – it didn't go to overtime. It got close. But then maybe he got a chance to go to church, as they were saying. If it went to overtime, he told his wife already that he wasn't going to go to church. But hopefully some of you guys still had enough time to get out there and go to your church services for all of those who celebrate on Christmas Eve. And I got home, though, we got home at 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm going to watch the game again. Knowing that I was going to get tired, though, I kind of skipped through to the second half, was watching it, fell asleep, but it got the most exciting. Woke up again at maybe 4 o'clock and couldn't go to sleep. I'm like, let me finish watching the game again. It was so oh my goodness. What an incredible game. Again, Hawaii 35-31 over Cal in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl on Christmas Eve. But in case this is news to anybody else, Hawaii trailed 21 points at one point. It's not like you look at the final score and you're like, oh, good, that was a good back and forth close game to end it 35-31. Woohoo, Hawaii wins. 21 points. It looked like, all the Hawaii bettors were probably tossing their tickets at that point because Hawaii, I didn't look at what the closing line was, but I'm assuming it didn't move much from Hawaii being the 1.5 point favorite. And and I saw a lot of tweets about it where they're just like, all right. And then I think it was like the Undertaker when Hawaii starts to come back, like raising up from the, like, well, we got ourselves a game. The defense just, I mentioned this last week where one of the X factors, so to speak, that Hawaii had, one of my takes was Dennis Thurman. I'm like, if there's anyone that can continue to figure out the new plan for the defense, aside from just what we talk about all the time, that Hawaii plays out of their mind when they're at home. Everybody showed up. They had to get punched in the face a little bit, and then unfortunately at the end, quite literally, because Cal just couldn't handle taking the loss, that the brawl that ensued. But figuratively, Hawaii got punched in the face early on, got down 21-0, and then the second quarter, you're like, all right, here we go.
They woke up a little bit.
Defense is like, all right, let's put a stop to these scorings. Hawaii ends up scoring 21 unanswered points throughout. And then we go back and forth, toe-to-toe in that fourth quarter. And oh my, what a game. Mike Alihado gets knocked out of the game at the end. Luke Weaver comes in. No, we're not settling for the tie in the field goal. We're going to go for the win. Tosses a dime to Nick Senecal, of all people, who we were manifesting. Like, you know what? Maybe Nick Senecal without Jackson Harris, Pofele, Ashlock, Nick Senecal. Someone's going to have that game.
And they both did.
Exactly.
Actually, they all did.
Pofele, Ashlock, Hugh, Yoshida, MVP of the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. Nick Senecal getting that game, or the go-ahead, I guess at that point, the go-ahead touchdown score.
You could call it the game-winning score.
Okay, just not a walk-off, but the game-winning score at this point. Man, we were talking about this off-air, Paul. We were already talking about the storylines going into the game. We were already saying and manifesting overtime. We just want a close game.
Right.
We want it to be
fun, competitive Christmas Eve game.
We want it to be what the odds makers had. 1.5 Hawaii favorite. All right. I don't think anyone could have scripted that ending in the sense that it would be the backup quarterback to the receiver who did not have that great of a season, and a receiver in that game that was not Pofele, Ashlock, or Brandon White. And you're just like, what just happened? Tell the whole damn world this is Bo territory. Let's go.
Oh my god, dude. It was one of those, like, you can only sit back and laugh as it happens, like, at the end of it, because the whole thing from a Hawaii fan standpoint, I can imagine, was stressful. You go down 21-0 right away. I mean, I was over here laughing because you're like, oh, I'm sure like some Hawaii bettors threw away their ticket early and like were angry. I was having people text me like early on. They're like, oh, we're riding with the bows for you, blah, blah, blah. And early on, the vibes were bad. Vibes were bad. And some of my friends on the East Coast went to bed.
Oh, no.
And they woke up and they said, wait a second. Hawaii won? And it was a fun little Christmas miracle for them because they all of a sudden had a winning ticket, and they were happy for me too. So shout out to them. Overall, I mean, if you haven't read it yet, I'd recommend going to read my recap and taking a peek at the gallery on our website where our full coverage of the night was just awesome in general. Like, not to be biased, but Michael and his crew was really, really great. And just overall, go check that out. But I wrote it in there where this is a script, this is a movie that Hollywood, I can't even dream of. I mean, they hope that their scripts come up to this point where you have, I mean, two coaches who go back to their essentially childhood, where it's 18 and 21. I guess, young manhood. You have two quarterbacks who do go back to their childhood. Both of them are lefties, which I just feel like is rare in general.
Yeah.
I can't think of many lefty quarterbacks starting versus each other. Ironically, Tua Tagovailoa versus Dylan Gabriel was the only other matchup that immediately popped into my mind. But you have that. You have the best season for the Bows in half a decade. The last time that they were this good, the guy on the other sideline happened to be their head coach. So you have all of these things heading into the game, and then the game itself is crazier than it ever could have asked to be. The biggest comeback in Hawaii Bowl history, tied for the biggest comeback in Hawaii program history. You have, an outstanding performance from the lesser talked about quarterback, I would say, between the two. I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
As popular as Micah Alejado was this season and as great as he was, Jaron's getting national notoriety. He's in the top 15, for Heisman odds next year.
They're
already.
saying he's going to be the number 1 draft pick whenever he comes out.
I hope so, because that'll be no kidding. But just in general, like all of these different things, you have him. You bring up Nick Senecal, Brandon White, who up and down year for him, where he had flashes, great moments, but couldn't really seem to get it going. Pofele, he talks about it, and we'll hear from him later, where he kind of started to lose confidence in himself a little bit. And this was a really great showing for him, not just to show the world, but to remind himself who he really was. And he ties a Hawaii Bowl record with 14 receptions in this one, a new career high for him. The storylines are endless, so many more to get into as it goes. But, my mind was racing the whole time. Thank God I was recording at the end, because, after Micah went out, I was like, oh, they're just going to kick the field goal. This will be like a toss out of bounds or whatever.
That's what I mean.
And I saw somebody say it, or I guess I'll paraphrase it on social media, where it's like the cojones to call for an end zone shot with your backup quarterback, the game on the line, because realistic disaster could have struck.
Yes.
It could have been a pick, and then the game's over, and then you don't even have a chance to send it to overtime. Maybe you take a sack and the game's over there. You get tackled inbound. So many different things can go wrong. And the one thing that could go right does. And it couldn't have been for some better guys who, Luke Weaver hadn't played since September. Nick Senecal has been marred by injuries all year. And for the two of them to hook up for the game-winning score, and the first guy out there to celebrate with him was Caleb Freeman, and then Micah Alejado wasn't too far behind, and I have to imagine DeMarcius Davis also was pretty close. It was cool to see how close the quarterback room was this year, and I thought that was a perfect illustration of that at the end, where it's Micah got hurt early, Luke Weaver, great job. DeMarcius did a nice job coming in and giving some different looks, and obviously we've talked about Caleb's contributions as a holder all year, all of them being each other's biggest fans, and it ultimately resulting in Micah having a great game and Luke throwing the game-winning touchdown. I thought that was the coolest thing to finish it out. It was crazy. A Christmas miracle. We were walking in a Weaver Wonderland. What else can we toss in there? So many different things. I loved it. I haven't stopped smiling, honestly, since the end of that game. I couldn't be happier for this team, for the coaches. I know Timmy mentioned he had lost somebody. So I just really, really cool for all of them, for anybody involved, and for all the fans, man. What a nice job.
Yeah, over 14,000 of you guys actually in attendance. Now, ticketed a sellout, but almost to that max capacity there at Chang. And you felt it. Biggest crowd ever in Chang in terms of the bodies in there. Going back to what your quarterbacks that you were talking about, shout out to the 808 Slangas, as Coach Kapanuli refers to them as, and Coach Timmy mentions we don't have a big quarterback room, but he says that they are very tight, and all three of those other quarterbacks, aside from Caleb Freeman. Already thinking about that. Caleb Freeman, that does his duties as the holder. All three of them, because Micah kept getting knocked out, they got a chance to get into the game. You got Marmar in there keeping the defense honest, come into the game a couple of times, which is so rare to say. Three quarterbacks ended up playing in the game at the quarterback position. All kinds of other things. You mentioned Pofele Ashlock tying the reception record with 14 in the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl.
With Jason Rivers, who was pretty good.
Well, that's the thing. The other irony of that is, it was Jason Rivers, yes. But if we go back to Jackson Harris being told that by people that he reminded them of Jason Rivers, and I was like, well, we got our guy that stuck it out and staying here at Hawaii that
stuck it out
just
for
so
his
happened,
full career, by the way.
Yeah, just so happened is the one that is tying Jason Rivers, and by all account is coming back next year. So yes, he will be here for the remainder of his career.
5 years.
And then the 21-point deficit that's coming back. That was 2007 against Washington is the tied for the largest comeback in school history. So 2007, pretty darn good year as well. When we look back to all of the times during this iconic season that was talked about, this record got broken same time as going back to this time. Like every single iconic era in Hawaii football we've mentioned throughout this season, because it's always going back to this happened,
in this game.
That happened. And again, that 9-4 mark that Hawaii has reached this year, it was the first time since 2019 that we go back to. Yeah, with Nick Rolovich coaching on the other side in the Hawaii Bowl. So just adding on all of these outside storylines, and then once again, when you get to the actual game itself, no one could have scripted it to that point. Comeback victory is one thing. You kind of anticipate that in a lot of big games, especially here in Hawaii. Hawaii, the home team. Again, this is Bo territory. There is a reason why this team has only lost once at home this season. That could have gone either way, but hey, they won the big one this time around. And then just to go back to your friends, though, Paul, I'm like, I thought they were football fans. I mean, I get it when you're depressed about a ticket, but the game's not over until after halftime. You got to make it to halftime and see how the third quarter starts trending. You got to make it to halftime.
You got to remember it's a little later in the day,
That's
so
how
can I put this?
On.
The beverages had started to fall in, so it was not necessarily totally by their own volition.
It wasn't just like, I'm just gonna fall asleep, and because that's what I kept telling myself the entire time as Cal it seemed like Hawaii couldn't stop them. I'm like, it's okay. And then they finally got to stop. Hawaii did. I'm like, okay, we just got to get to halftime. And then the second quarter came. I was like, all right, chipping away. Like, okay, they score this touchdown. We won't be down by much going into the halftime, just down by 11. Like, I had all the confidence in the world still. I had my positive Paul hat on the entire first half, even as it was playing off. I was like, we're still gonna do it. I'm still gonna get in there, and I'm gonna play quarterback because we're still gonna do this. And they did the darn thing.
I'm very proud of you. I will say this. Selfishly, I was pumped about this for a very specific reason, and I've been waiting to say this on the show, where this was the first time I've gotten to experience Hawaii football the way that all of you know it.
Oh, yes.
Because, and I don't want to take away from the previous few seasons.
No,
there have been some really exciting wins. There have been some, awesome moments, but a comeback win in the Hawaii Bowl, and kind of what you were getting at, all the iconic times in Hawaii football lore, we kind of got a taste of them in this game with the comeback victory, with a local quarterback who has embraced being the island's quarterback, and a backup quarterback cementing themselves in Hawaii lore. I mean, of all the stories that I continue to hear, whether it's from you, from our friends, from our listeners, whatever it may be, this was the first time I got to experience it truly in person. And obviously it wasn't Aloha Stadium, but man, TC Ching was rocking, and it was a really, really fun time. It's one of those ones, it was cool to have a moment where it's like, oh, that's a game that I will talk about to my kids in the future. That's cool for me.
That is cool.
So that's all I can think about the whole time.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's true, and I'm sure a lot of young fans, maybe even still some newer adult fans that maybe weren't fans in the first place, and now for whatever reason they're starting to watch UH football for the first time here. So and all across the country, now that social media is so prevalent, more people are like, wow, what's up with this Hawaii team that was going off? So
new tweets about the Hawaii Bowl on my timeline.
Yeah, it's been crazy. So shout out to all of the newer fans that got to experience what Paul did, the being engulfed in real time of what a lot of the fans from all these eras past that got to experience it, because yes, it's just a different feeling. Hence why I would always go back to, man, that 2019 Hawaii Bowl, blah, 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 blah. And now I can be like, well, now that is 2025 Hawaii Bowl. Now is the talk of the town. Shout out to our friends there at Kyoya to coming in at the perfect time to bring back the iconic Sheraton Hawaii Bowl name. That it's the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. that has gotten all of these big games. So all of the storylines were storylining. Anyways, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll let you guys hear a good portion of what head coach Timmy Chang had to say in the postgame. We'll also catch up to some of I see the YouTube chatter going off. So during the break, we'll kind of catch up to what you guys have been saying. If you have something to say about the game, feel free to text us at 808-888-5481. We'll be right back on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network.
Wake up in the den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Ku'ulei Agbayani, Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawai'isportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel because it's a pom-pom party here. And we needed to celebrate and keep the party going from Christmas Eve, celebrating Hawaii's, not only the Hawaii Bowl comeback win for the University of Hawaii, your University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors over Cal, but just what a way to end an incredible season, the best season. Finally, our head coach Timmy Chang has gotten, coming back home to take over a program that was down in the dumps. And I'm just glad in here in the studio, Paul, we kept saying year one was a wash. 3 years to turn around a program. Year 4 is going to be the year. That's like I probably at nauseum at that point, people were just like, man, can we just...
They're probably yelling at their radio dial. Shut up! Shut up!
They're doing so bad. I'm like, yes, but this is the year. This is the year. And boy, it was the year. And we keep saying, like, we couldn't have scripted that Sheraton Hawaii Bowl any better than that being the game that tops everything off from an iconic season of head coach Timmy Chang, and my goodness, and just all of the players, everything, all parts in between. That was incredible. I got to get to our text, and we'll probably take it to our next break because since we're coming up on it, and Timmy Chang's post game is a little long, but I had to make sure to share it because it was so funny and it was so real. I talked about our friend in Boise, texting us the other day that he told his wife he wasn't going to go to church if the game went into overtime. He did text us, said that he didn't make it to church, but sure prayed a lot that night. So I'm sure a lot of you guys
Got me a
did.
belly laugh. Like during the break when we read it, I 'cause one, amen. Amen, you know? It was definitely, I think, not only our friend in Boise, but a lot of different prayers from a lot of different corners of the world were coming on in for the Bows to pull that one out. So I'm glad you were able to still get a little worship in, even if it may
A lot
be
of us.
even if it may be to our Lord and Savior, Timmy Chang.
Thank you for saving us, Timmy Chang. I just saw this text. I guess it came in from Felipe. I know Felipe's in the chat, but I saw his text just now that said, "A Merry Christmas, Ku, Paul, and Michael. What a wonderful morning to wake up." Again, this is a text that came in yesterday morning. What a wonderful morning to wake up to after a UH football Christmas miracle. Anyone that doesn't like this team should get coal in their stockings.
Amen.
Wishing you all the best, Felipe. So I just saw that right now, and then that came in yesterday. Thank you, Felipe. But yes, you're right. If no one likes this team with all of the cards stacked against, I mean, we saw what Cal was doing to Hawaii that beginning. They were bigger, some were faster. It's just that offensive line, we talked about it, but you guys got to see it for yourself. Like, that offensive line was humongous. Like, Hawaii with, like, the defensive line, it was just almost...
I've spent the whole season being like, yeah, our D-line's, like, pretty big, and, like, we've got some big, bad guys on that D-line, and they're rock stars. I'm looking at them, I'm like, dang, all of them look like Jackie Johnson III. And that's not to disparage Jackie, who, by the way, our best pass rusher, and thank God he was okay, because when he was down, I was like, oh, no. Especially because I really want him to have an opportunity to go through, whether it's the draft process or all of these different things. I think he deserves that opportunity, and a bad injury wouldn't give him that. But I'm looking at Jackie is like an undersized edge rusher compared to what you'd expect normally. I'm looking at like guys like Dejon Benton, and I'm like, they're dwarfing our guys. And nonetheless, you still see Hawaii's defensive line get home in some of the biggest moments of the game. That was a key point in this comeback as well, was they get home on a 4th and 9. Lester Lungafuaina gets to Jaron and takes him down for a turnover on downs out near midfield. And, you know, like you said, early on it looked bad, but kind of once Hawaii settled in, you saw the team that we've seen all season. And funny enough, it really was bookends to the season, right? You started the year off, I think, down double digits to Stanford, an ACC team. You end the year starting off down double digits to an ACC team. And both times you don't panic. You stick together. You chip away. And funny enough, you get 2 of the most iconic wins Hawaii has had, if not the most iconic wins that Hawaii has had in the 2020s.
Definitely in the 2020s.
Yeah,
I was like,
trust me, I was ready to add
definitely
my
the
qualifier.
2 under head coach Timmy Chang, which would essentially be the 2020s. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will get you that post game for some of you guys that didn't hear or watch it yet, and let you know what Timmy Chang had to say following that iconic Sheraton Hawaii Bowl win. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network. All right.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Here I go, coming. I can't ever stop.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den, Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on this Aloha Friday, and having a pom-pom party because we're letting the whole world, we're live on YouTube on this special Aloha Friday celebratory, celebrating the University of Hawaii football season, and of course that massive Sheraton Hawaii Bowl win on Christmas Eve. But yeah, pom-pom party because, you know, we want to make sure as many people that tune in on our YouTube especially that will realize and know for sure that we're telling the whole damn world that this is Bo territory.
Come on!
Let's go!
Come on.
Backstory to that, though, that anyone that doesn't know and wonder why I'm going to keep saying that throughout the show is because that is a Cal Bears chant that they do tell the whole damn world this is Bear territory, so...
Similar to...
If they come over here, though, if anyone comes over here, this is Bo territory. And we got to just
Absolutely.
make sure everybody else knows. All right. Without further ado, though, again, we want to make sure we've been saying it, and I want to make sure you guys hear from the head man in charge, just bringing Hawaii back to what we feel like is those glory days. And Paul and a lot of other maybe new fans got to be engulfed in it for the first time. And what a win to do so. But I couldn't have done that without, of course, the head man in charge, Timmy Chang. And here is what he had to say following that game.
Just want to give all glory and praise to our Lord and Savior. I mean, can't say it enough. I mean, these guys are a team of faith. Ironically, a year ago, we were in one of these suites right behind us, raising money, and I owe money to keep our program together and keep our core guys here, and that's so important for us as we develop guys and like Pofele, Ashlock, and Nick Senecal, and Fredo Edwards, and on and on. I can go on and on about the guys that we have here that we want in our program. And so I just want to thank a lot of the community of all the same guys that have been supporting us, and we just need more support. Just want to thank the Sheet Metals Union and also the Iron Workers Union. The guys in the community just stepping up and helping us. And if you guys like the product, the state of Hawaii, we like the product that's on the field. Continue to support our football team in those ways and the monetary ways that is needed in college football now. And so, and then I just want to, I thanked one of my friends. He was on his last leg. He actually passed today, Junior Wong. He's one of my best friends. One of the best athletes I've ever been around. And he passed before the game. This game's for you, buddy. I love you. I miss you.
The Eva side, Malka side. Once again, the operations building on the Eva side, on the Malka side of the field. Luis Santos.
And get this win. Talk about this team and the way they were able to finish not only this game, but the season.
They're gritty. They've learned how to fight through adversity. I would say the first 3 years taught us the ways not to fight through adversity, and this year has taught us the ways that we can handle adversity and continue to propel ourselves. I think the game of college football or a game of football is not too complicated, right? You make mistakes, you're going to lose games. You make mistakes and you keep battling back, you keep fighting through. It's never perfect, so is life. And these guys are learning that through their hard work, their discipline, their effort, their willingness to stay together, and their faith in the man upstairs.
Coach, as exciting and thrilling as this game was, are you disappointed in how it ended in the aftermath between the two teams? No,
I just think it's just, I hate to say it's part of it. The tempers are hot. Guys are, it's the last game of the season. Guys want to win. I think, we just want to go out there and make a good showing. But also too, our players want to protect each other, and they're going to do that at all costs. And so, as long as they're staying together, they're being respectful. They're being respectful to their elders, the community. When it comes down to football, it's a physical game, and they're going to go out there and go protect each other. And so, I expect that of them.
Coach, what can you say about Luke Weaver coming in near the end of the game there?
Wow. That's a special throw. I mean, it's a different situation that we put him in, but he came out there and executed, and he's made to do that. You know, the kid came in 2 games and won for us. You know, he's a good player, man. And, you know, we want to keep him here. And I think, you know, I've said it before, we don't have a lot of guys in that quarterback room, but we have a great quarterback room. And those guys, you know, they really love each other. And that was a hell of a throw by Luke.
Can you share what you and Coach Rolo said to each other after the game on the field?
You know, it's two, you know, an 18 and a 20-year-old, 21-year-old as we met, you know, just a special bond, you know, a unique bond of friendship, of competition, and admiration. I really love that guy, you know, as you know, and he's very respectful, and I think the world of him. And so, you know, I told him I love him, and we'll talk in the off season as us coaches do, and we have that close connection.
Coach, you've won the Hawaii Bowl both as a player and a coach. How does this compare to your playing days?
You know, I think it's better now because I think I'm helping raise, you know, leaders in the community and building young men to be, you know, just be great fathers and husbands. And we can come out here and win games as well as do those things. I think that's the joy that I have now, being older. You know, it's one thing to go out there and go play and have the competition, but I totally love being a coach, and I love coaching the University of Hawaii.
Like this, you know, how will this, you know, keep the momentum of the offseason?
Yeah, you know, just like last year, a game against New Mexico propelled us into a great offseason. I expect us to do the same. I told our coaches and all that. It's an important game because, you know, the community feels it. You know, they get behind you, they rally. There's so much things that we're asking for, especially the ledge and the community. Just to, you know, we have this pride of this school, and we believe that it's the #1 university in the Pacific, and we're proud of our football team. We're proud of our athletic program. We're proud of the academics we put out. You know, those things all matter, and so this win is huge.
Yeah, and Coach, I mean, a 2-minute drill, almost textbook, but kind of got a little wild there. What was the play calling on the sideline to get the job done?
Yeah, it was really just trying to find a way to get the ball, you know, up the field as fast as possible. You know, and really the mindset was, okay, we want to go score, but if we can get to the 30, it'd give Kansai an opportunity to at least tie the game and go into overtime. But I think we got there a little bit faster with some time, so it gave us an extra opportunity there to take a shot at. And what a play catch, and what a performance by those guys. It's those guys in the locker room and those guys that are doing it on the field that are really awesome.
Man, oh man, and that was University of Hawaii football head coach Timmy Chang, and the on-field post-game following that comeback victory, 35-31 over Cal in the Sheraton Hawai'i Bowl on Christmas Eve, and just all the right things. I think it's so funny though to and it's so true, right? Like, it's the brawl that ensued afterwards. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little later in the show, but I just like the answer, and we'll hear from Pofele, Ashlock, and everyone's kind of the same attitude towards it. They're like, well, you know, tempers are hot. Everyone's just like ready to go, and Cal just so are losers, and that's what happens. But yeah, like, now we got to bring that up because you reminded me about the video, on-field video that our Michael Estegaro got. That's
my
not,
God, it was so funny.
He's not posting it, but it is just kind of funny in real time because Michael, as he should, is getting the end of game reaction, like the immediate end of game. Coach
what
Rolo
was supposed to be post game celebration.
Yeah, Coach Rolo and Coach Timmy like meeting at midfield, and then they do the hug, but then they realize really quick that
you see the fracas,
the brawl's going on, and then Timmy just in the most common demeanor is just looking like, oh shoot, and it's just like.
To be fair, and I love both of those guys. What are they gonna do?
That's why.
What are they gonna do? Because I'm looking at. We talked about it to start the show. Cal's offensive line makes our D line look small, and our D line is not small to begin with. And a lot of those guys were the ones going at it. Oh God, it was one. To my knowledge, nobody's like seriously injured.
Yes.
So I'm
Although
gonna
apparently
chuckle a
like
little bit.
Jemai Otis, who's recovering from his surgery, was trying to get it on some.
Listen, adrenaline's
so
running.
You're just going at it.
Also,
Everyone's
at the end
going.
of the day, you're gonna defend your guys,
of course,
and
yeah.
For Hawaii especially, they're what is it? Defend the Aina, where it's like, it just I don't know. I thought it was Well, that actually, funny enough, that was what cemented in my mind. I'm like, oh, I'm really getting the full old Hawaii team experiences. A fun win and a fight afterwards.
You are so right. Nothing says an iconic Hawaii win than some kind of fight that ends everything, whether it's the players or like spilling out into the crowd. I know a lot of people are just reminiscent of like there was like a Houston game. I remember
the UH
Cincinnati.
versus UH.
Like it's just like everything. It was definitely nostalgia for sure. And then we add in, yes, of course, the whole storyline of the former coaches being the current coaches, excuse me, are being former teammates and former quarterbacks. All of it, like storylines were storylining and then some throughout the rest of the game, how everything went. But no, Timmy, and I saw this in our live chat, and Michael Escaro posted this on his social media. And then you can see it at High Sports Radio because it was mentioned the Luke chapter 2. That was
cool.
Yeah,
that
cool. Timmy had written
lie.
down, and Luke Weaver was the one, and his number is 2. And so it was just like everything tying in, especially if you're
on Christmas.
If you're religious,
Eve,
then it's like even more so. This all everything else that had with it, and as we mentioned before, this team is the team of faith. So it was like everything that could have happened in this game happened, and like that's where you're just and things that you wouldn't even imagine. I mean, we were saying, oh, it'll be, Kansei Matsuzawa that hits like the walk-off field goal once again. And he ended up missing that first field goal, which was pretty far away. But fortunately that in hindsight, it didn't matter down the stretch. Like it wasn't a point that
didn't ultimately matter.
Yeah, you could argue that the game would have been managed differently had he made it, yada, yada, yada. But for the most part, and I'm sure that had nothing to do with the fact that after that, he made everything, right? Kansei did. And Timmy, though, opting to go for that touchdown and not settle for the field goal. He's like, we're going to go for this
We'll
win.
take a shot. We got time for it.
They did. And they went for it. I want to see this other text came. Cal shouldn't have poked the bear.
Good text.
And it said, Kaloha oi. Ooh, I like that one.
W text.
Good job. I'm going to have to steal that for social media. Thank you very much. I wish I thought of that. Like when that happened. Oh, that's a good one. Kaloha oi. Yep. See ya. Wouldn't want to be let's see. One more text before we go to break. Hawaii wins. Oh, Hawaii's win on Saturday.
Wednesday. And they're talking about the Hawaii Bowl.
Okay. Hawaii's win on Saturday reminded me when Colt Brennan led Hawaii when they played UW. Yep. Overcoming a 21-point deficit. That is, they actually tied that biggest deficit in Hawaii program history.
2004 versus Michigan State, too, I think, is another comeback.
One. Yeah. Aloha Stadium was sold out and in a frenzy. Yep. Also, have you seen the video that UH put on Instagram where they are speaking Hawaiian with the Rihanna song, Gave Me Chicken Skin? Check it out. I will. Actually, I think I saw a snippet of it, but I'll go look back and check it on as well.
Check it out.
There's a lot of, I mean, that crew, Trevor and his crew at UH, Gobos Media, good. They're always going to put out awesome stuff like that. But dang it, I wish I thought of that. Kaloha oi.
Kaloha.
Good job.
Oi. Sit down.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 for that one. Shout out to you for giving us that Kaloha oi, because they kept wanting to push that. Had it on the jersey at the press conference. I was so over it. I was just like, barf, to the point where I just couldn't stand the helmet of all things. I'm like, no, there's only one Hawaii. And sure enough, there's only one Bow territory here at home. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back to close out hour number 1 on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den. Ku'ulei Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel on this Aloha Friday, celebratory Friday, just recapping that iconic Sheraton Hawaii Bowl the other day on Christmas Eve, and just celebrating the entire season as a whole under head coach Timmy Chang, and the best season of his career, which is hopefully just the beginning of his career as head coach of your University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. We'll get back to talking about the game and hear from Pofele Ashlock and what he had to say for post-game, the Hugh Yoshida MVP of the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. We'll also hear a snippet from quarterback Micah Alihado and what he had to say post-game as well. Luckily, we got 2 hours because, like I said, this whole first hour, it was more of a chance for me and Paul to get, like,
let's just word vomit out.
Word vomit, celebrating, and then we'll no promises, though. We might get into some actual takes and talking
some
about
analysis.
The game. Yeah, there you go. That's the word I'm looking for. I can't even think right now because I'm just
it's
like,
okay.
I'm just partying.
We've got the top of the hour break to collect our thoughts and put our minds together.
Ending off this first hour, though, I did want to kind of share just other stories, maybe some fun tweets when we have about 5 minutes left. I'll start off first, though. We're going to share some stuff also if you're watching on our YouTube channel, some photos for you guys. I know we tend to be very, very harsh on the government, the state, blah, 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 and the legislature. That's a story for another day. But when credit is due, I want to make sure I give credit to the city and county of Honolulu, because they went all out, it felt like, and they were recognizing how big of a game day it is. On the freeway, as you guys know, that there's like those signs that usually remind people to slow down or whatever. Well, on Wednesday, they had those signs that you can see on the freeway that said, "Don't rush. This is not football. Go Bows." So that was on the freeway. Also, I noticed when I was headed to the game that the bus had on the back where they have like the bus number, and sometimes the bus will like throw shock at you if you let them go, if you let them go in front. Well, the bus also had "Go Warriors" on the back that was flashing. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome that you guys like had all of that stuff going on, that they really got on board. The city did with making it recognized and doing things that they can to show that it's Go Bows Day. And also, as frustrating as the rail and whatever has become, I do need to give a shout out to everyone that had come together with the city or whoever and UH to make transportation really easy. So my mom and my auntie did catch the rail/shuttle that we mentioned the other day on Christmas Eve, on that being a chance for people to be able to come out from the west side and use that mode of transportation. And she was raving about how easy it was to get from Waipahu to UH. So one of the main stops in Waipahu are like right down the road from where my mom and my auntie live. And my dad dropped them off. They hopped on the rail. The rail took them all the way to the Kalihi station. When they got off, there was already a shuttle waiting for them to take them to campus. They got on, and then they got dropped off like right in upper campus, walk across the street, go to the stadium. She was just like, it was so easy. And they even had people at that rail stop, the Kalihi rail stop, to kind of guide people down, like, okay, here, like, oh, if you're going to go to Waikiki, you go over here. If you're going to go to the football game, you go into this one. Like, they made it really easy, and then they took it on the way back. Same thing. When they walked out of the game, the shuttle was waiting for them, took them to the rail station, and then got home easy peasy. So I wanted to make sure we share some of that positivity, and shout out to everybody that made that really fair. Convenient. Yeah, we're fair in our analysis of other things that we are normally harsh on. So I wanted to make sure we shared that some positivity, that everyone got on board and made sure they made transportation really easy when Hawaii and the stadium at Ching is rocking, and we're going to have these sold out games every year, or every home game starting next season. They make it easy, and so that's definitely an option to come on over if you're going like from Kapolei, Waipahu, and don't want to drive, pay for parking. Apparently, it was really, really convenient and easy. I did want to share another story to add on top of that with my auntie, and we were talking about this throughout this first hour, and and the football team is a team of faith, and Luke Weaver throwing that touchdown, and Coach Chang having Luke chapter 2 on his game plan or game notes. I texted Paul very early on because my dad couldn't come to the game, so with my mom came my Auntie Lily. And for those of you guys who have been listening or watching this show quite often, I lost one of my uncles that almost was like a second dad to me growing up a couple of Thanksgivings ago, and he was always supportive of the show and me early on. And mostly, probably out of all my relatives, he and my auntie were really the only almost diehard UH football fans. Like, I would get texts from them every weekend, like, oh, where can we watch the game, or where can we listen to the game, like just so that they could ask it and watch it. And they went to do the Sugar Bowl thing and everything in New Orleans when that Colt Brennan years and everything. And so my auntie came to the game instead, and all I could think about was, and this is her, I'll pull her up on my YouTube. There's me, my mom, and my Auntie Lily on the left side and on my mom's right. So she came to the game, and I'm like, you know what? And again, kid you not, I texted Paul, and I'm like, Auntie Lily's here. I'm like, Paul, that means Uncle Pat's Uncle Pat is going to, we're going to win now, because Uncle Pat up there in heaven is going to make sure that, his beautiful bride does not witness a loss for Hawaii. Because I'm pretty sure this is her first game in person without him, right? So it's like, all of that, I'm like, this isn't going to happen. Even when we were down, I'm like, I have the faith. It's going to happen. I'm going to get all emotional. So good thing we're going to have to go into break now in a little bit. But even when we were down, and after the game, I kept telling her, I'm like, Auntie, Uncle Pat's going to win this for us. We're going to win. We're going to win. And after it, I was like, look at what Uncle Pat did. So whatever celestial powers that were happening, everything was culminating. He was sitting there next to Jesus, making sure this happens. And it was just, everything about this game was just, whew.
It was out of a dream. I mean, I don't think I could put it in any other way. It was, like you said, I think it was emotional for a lot of people. Timmy was fighting back tears in his post game. I know a lot of other people.
He lost a friend, as we mentioned.
Yeah, I know a lot of other people were very emotional after this win. And this, not to soapbox it up to close out our first hour, but this is why I have been so adamant about bowl games matter, and why it's like, I get it. I get the debates. I understand the conversations and yada, yada, yada. Things matter if you decide that they matter.
Mm-hmm.
And this so clearly mattered to so many people, both who were playing in this game and who were just going to watch it. And that is what you take away when you start to diminish the accomplishments of seasons and diminish anyone who's not competing for a national championship or one of the top 8 brands in college football or whatever it may be. This was really cool for a lot of different reasons. I think the biggest one for me was the emotional side of it for so many different people, for so many different reasons, reminds you about the love of college athletics that you really do have deep down still. And you being the general you.
Like I said, whatever power, I know off air you were saying, like, even your granny.
Dude.
We're just like, all the power, all of everyone's belief in the greater being, everything culminated there at Ching in Manoa. We're just like, this was iconic. And it all came down to that. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back for hour number 2, we'll continue our conversation, possibly get into some real analysis, as Paul and I were chuckling about. Maybe we'll still keep the party vibes going, though, of course, but also let you hear from Hugh Yoshida, MVP, Pofele Ashlock, what he had to say post-game, and quarterback Micah Alihado. So don't go anywhere. The party continues here on this Aloha Friday on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network.
Antai.
Back to more Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Wake Up in the Den, hour number 2. I'm Ku'ulei Agbayani. Ooh, excuse me. Alongside Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel on this a special Aloha Friday, Victory Friday YouTube live stream. Shout out to everyone for tuning in and partying with us this Aloha Friday morning, post-Christmas, and woo! Just so excited, like talking about all this stuff.
Golly.
See our live chat also lighting up here. Feel free to chime in on the live chat if you're just tuning in, or you can text us at 808-888-KGU1. That's 808-888-5481 if you have anything to say to get in on the party. So we got our regular chatters here with Felipe and Caesar and Colin. Colin, earlier we were talking about how we watched the replay of the game. Colin saying he watched it on the airplane as well. I'm sure a lot of people watched the replay. If you haven't yet, it's on ESPN Plus. It was available like pretty much immediately after the game was all POW. So that's something we did on Christmas Eve later in the day. I'm sure some of you did that as well. Let's see. Some people thanking us for, we got kind of a new texter that said Friday bonus stream. Heck yeah. Shout out to Chris. I saw Oz from Sunnydale's in here as well. I feel like we haven't seen their name pop up in a while, but saying good morning. Congratulations to Hawaii for the great comeback win. Also saying that the Weaver Senecal touchdown was something else. Yep, we will talk about that. We mentioned this in hour number 1, and I don't think we could ever stop mentioning the fact that the way that the game comeback win is one thing, but like the way that the game ended and who ended the game for the Rainbow Warriors, like I don't think anyone had that thought in their mind whatsoever, and that being Luke Weaver coming in when Micah Alihado gets knocked out. Nick Senecal, who had been relatively quiet throughout the game. Pofele Ashlock earned the Hugh Yoshida MVP for his performance with the record-tying 14 catches in the Hawaii Bowl. Brandon White had another really impressive catch in the end zone that wasn't a touchdown, and then fortunately they went back to review it.
It was always
a touchdown. But Nick Senecal, and he's been battling injuries this entire season, and for it to be a Luke Weaver and in a game situation where you could have just gone for the field goal and tied it with a kicker that, yes, he missed one field goal, but he was solid ever since. He's been solid all season, so you feel good, right? It's not like a San Jose State situation where you're like, I don't really trust our kicker. You would have had the confidence for Kansei to be able to tie that game, but like we mentioned earlier, they had time, and Timmy Chang's like, you know what, we're going to put it in the hands and have faith in the backup quarterback. Hitting the receiver that was relatively quiet the entire season. Again, a big portion of that because of injury. And those two made it happen for that game-winning touchdown. Luke Weaver to Nick Senecal. I mean, pure magic. And just to add to your point that you had said to end off our number 1, Paul, is that a lot of people on social media were talking about the fact that they were giving Hawaii a lot of praise, Hawaii and Cal, I should say, in this situation. Hawaii and Cal, a lot of praise for reminding everybody why bowl games are awesome. Because up until that point, the bowl games were kind of boring. Some of them, we were talking about how awful of a performance UNLV had in theirs. Like where it did, and I mentioned this with UNLV, it just seemed like they didn't care in that game, right? Like they just were there like, oh, I'm just here so I don't get fined, essentially. Like, I don't really care to be in this game. And Hawaii and Cal reminded us how awesome this postseason bowl era is, and football fans were treated to this type of game. You couldn't write it any better, and everyone was talking about it across the country. Hawaii gained a lot of traction and probably gained a lot of new fans, and we got a quarterback that's sticking it out here, and one of the main receivers as well. So all of these people came back.
I know we're celebrating right now. I didn't see this morning. Did you see this?
What?
UNLV starting quarterback Anthony Calandria plans to enter the NCAA transfer portal per Pete Nakosh, whatever. Per Pete Thamel, all of them. Calandria just recommitted to UNLV 10 days ago. That's the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. Interesting.
Now, I do want, since we're on that topic, do want to mention that, the other day, I think, it was Lester Langafua'aina that did recommit to the University of Hawaii. But also coming out yesterday, not too long after that, is that punter Billy Gowers is entering the transfer portal as well. So we wish Billy all the best. I retweeted something Kansei tweeted about that announcement from Billy Gowers on his social media. He said, after a lot of thought and consideration, I've decided to enter the transfer portal with 3 years of eligibility left. Kansei retweeted saying, I love you, Billy, the best punter. So wish him all the best. Considering the fact that our special teams has been pretty solid, and somehow Coach Chef and Coach Timmy have been able to find some of these diamonds in the rough. Their work's going to be cut out for them in the offseason, but if there's any coaching staff that I have faith in, hence why I keep saying, we need to make sure this coaching staff is taken care of and staying first. I know all of the craziness in the transfer portal and everything, but sometimes players still want to go, and programs are good, and coaching matters. So again, wish Billy all the best. That announcement came out yesterday that he has decided to enter the transfer portal. But we will embrace, and I want to continue to talk about this, where we will embrace everyone that chooses to stay. We're not wishing ill on everyone that decides to leave, but I think it just emphasizes, and this is a message to all of the fans especially, just how much more the players that choose to stay need to be embraced, and just we need to appreciate especially the key players like a Micah Alihado, like a Pofele Ashlock, right? Peter Manu Ma for his entire career. I know he's graduated now and he won't be back next year. Well, never say never. Carson Pupunu, I saw he
really
applied for medical
year.
hardship, so Carson Pupunu could be back as well. So
same with Wyndon Ho'ohuli.
Yeah, Wyndon Ho'ohuli. So Hawaii, I'm just going to assume that they'll come back and play for Hawaii, that Hawaii could get some of these players back, but even more so, and not just with football, in any sport, to embrace that these players are deciding to stay because, like we keep saying, we know maybe dollar-wise, Hawaii can't and maybe possibly won't be able to ever offer the top dollar just because how short a dollar goes here in Hawaii. And I don't got to preach to all of you that live here on what that means, but the experience that you get here in Hawaii is next level. It's stuff money can't buy, and how much you will truly be iconic. This team, the expectation is very high for future teams as long as Timmy Chang and co are here, but this team, these players will just be remembered, right? How Paul mentioned earlier, Paul got to finally be part and engulfed into what a lot of us that have grown up watching some of these iconic eras in football, Hawaii football, he got to feel it and is going to tell his grandchildren about it one day. But that's the story that people with Hawaii, because we are so appreciative of all of these things that happen and all of the seasons that we get like this, you'll be talked about forever. Colt Brennan, rest his soul, that he is forever a hero here in Hawaii. And Timmy Chang, right? You will go to big schools and then they'll just have another year and you're just a player. You're just a body that's going to go out there and sacrifice yourself, and then people are going to forget you unless you win a Heisman, right? People are going to remember you for just being someone that they saw your jersey out there on the football field, right? Even if you just spend your last couple of years here, like a Dijon Benton, right? I will remember that guy and a lot of the disruption that he had, and a Jackie Johnson for all of his, just the whole course of his young life and football career that made him end up here at the University of Hawaii and ending it with that Hawaii Bowl win. Of course, the other players like Micah and Pofele, but it's just playing for Hawaii football is different. You're not just another body. You're not just this disposable player that has a dollar amount. People care about you here. People will always remember your name if you bring them back to this glory days that it feels like we have entered once again.
I always say to players that I chat with, always look at your fit, think about things that are bigger than the dollar, because there is an opportunity to make lifelong connections. And we've talked about how good of a job the University of Hawaii program does for its football players, especially. I'm losing my hair. For the football program, especially, though, when it comes to life after football, setting them up with internships. And it's not just football, but it's, they do a real nice job there. And I do think about that a lot, where how many times have you seen players go from a great year here to a bigger program now and then not put up numbers, or even somewhat of a lateral move and then not put up as good numbers? Sometimes there is value in staying in the same place because playing time does still matter to some people and opportunity still matters to some people. I will echo your point to plead with fans. Please don't be attacking players when they announce their entrance into the transfer portal, because that looks bad on the program. It looks bad in general. I totally understand being upset. That's not me saying you're not allowed to be upset. That's ridiculous. But it is okay to just say thank you for what you did for your 1 season or 2 seasons or whatever it may be. We wish you the best. Because like we've seen in the past, the transfer portal has been very kind to the University of Hawaii, and we have to remember that it is both sides too. Yeah, some people are going to look for better opportunities. Some people find better opportunities here. And those are the ones that we should focus our energy on. Personally, that's my belief.
Let's go, Bows!
Go Bows.
It's a pom-pom party. All right.
I lost my hair. I had to grab it.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, let's hear from one of the stars of the game, in that the Hugh Yoshida MVP of the Sheraton Hawai'i Bowl, Pofele Ashlock, again tying that Hawai'i Bowl reception record, tying Jason Rivers' record with 14 receptions in that game. But when we come back, we'll hear a little snippet, because he just was dropping some in that post game. We posted just a clip too on our social media at High Sports Radio. But Pofele Ashlock, man, as if you didn't already root for this guy after that post game. I'm like, let's go, Fele. All right, we'll be right back in here from Pofele Ashlock when we come back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
finer things. I've been looking my whole life trying to find the things. I'ma take a whole pie, that's mine light. If you want a slice, baby, you can try mine. Hey.
Pofele Agbayani, Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, HawaiiSportsRadio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel on this special celebratory Friday, Aloha Friday. Again, we normally stream every Monday for sure. Next week, Wednesday, we will also have a special live stream for New Year's Eve, so we can hang out with all of you for the final day of 2025. And then, you know what, every now and then, as Colin had mentioned, maybe they didn't want to plan for a YouTube live stream in case Hawaii lost. And yeah, that's
yes.
Colin, yes, that's partially true. When we realized, all right, this is the game that we're recapping, we got to do a YouTube live stream to celebrate,
no choice.
Have a pom-pom party, all of that stuff that we've been appreciative of you guys that have tuned in so far. All right. So the Hugh Yoshida Most Valuable Player of the Sheraton Hawai'i Bowl going to Pofele Ashlock. 14 receptions, again, tying the Sheraton Hawai'i Bowl record of Jason Rivers back in 2006, and also had 123 receiving yards and 2 tutties for Pofele Ashlock. So before we talk a little bit more about his performance in the offense in general, want to let you guys hear what he had to say following that game, because a lot of it really hit home there. So here is Pofele Ashlock in the postgame.
Man, honestly, there's just too many emotions that's going through my head right now, honestly. I think we just go back and think about the building of what Coach Timmy has came and just did and turn everything around, man. From a 3-win season to a 10-win season, man. I mean, I don't think that anything I could sit here and say would do anything but just give it to God, man. You know what I mean? So I'm just grateful, man, that we have a team like this to go out there and just stay together, man, and just fight through adversity and be poised, man, and just go out there and do what we do. You know what I mean? So, yes, sir.
Did you feel like that catch you made with the guy draped on you, kind of caught it behind him? Did that change something for you guys overall? Did it feel that way?
I think it was just a momentum change, you know what I mean? I think the biggest thing with having Jackson going and everything, I mean, he was a big momentum changer for us, you know what I mean? So I don't think anybody could deny that, but I think it was going back to myself and just understanding that, man, I had that ability too, man, just, you know what I mean, to get back to my freshman files. But man, I think it was a big, huge thing to the team, man, talking about some, man, let's go, you know what I mean? We're not backing down out of this one, man. Let's get up and let's get going, you know what I mean? So, yes, sir.
Oh, Philip, talk about your connection with Micah today and what can we expect for next year?
Man, I think right there you just seen, I think it's just hungriness, man. I think I had a conversation with Micah, man, just telling him, man, I got you. You know what I mean? I know it hasn't been everything that you wanted this season. And for myself as well, man, that's why I say that. So I think the biggest thing was just having a conversation, just telling him I got her, man. And trust me, man, I got you, I'll be there. Man, as you can see right there, man, 14 catches now. I can't do that by myself. So, man, it's been amazing to even have a quarterback to even listen to me like that. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, what kept you going when you guys were down 21-0 and, you know, you were still giving effort out there, and what went into that?
I think the biggest one was my God. I think I asked for this, man. I think before in the hotel room, I was just sitting there asking him for a game. You know what I mean? Just to go out there and just prove to myself, not to everyone else, but to myself, man. I think lately I haven't been confident in the most ways. So going out there was just amazing. And just going out there and just playing my game and having Micah just be right there with me and the team right there with me, and to come out here and doing it in the biggest stage in front of a whole bunch of fans, man. So it was amazing. It was amazing atmosphere to be in.
Talk about this journey. I mean, when you come to this program, hadn't had a winning season in a while, hadn't been into a bowl game in a while. Talk about this journey to now 9 wins and a bowl and an MVP. I mean, this journey for you and your teammates.
Yeah, I think that's what college football is, man. I think growing up, there was no transfer portal or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing was just the grind, man. Success never comes without grind, and I think that's the biggest thing I always have to keep to myself, man. And especially these coaches, man, they always tell us, man, this is going to be a grind. Life is always going to be a grind, but how much can you fight, you know? So I think the building of just 3 years, man, this, especially a 3-win season, and then now to a 10-win season, man, all glory to God, faith-based team, man, and just be going out there and just to fight through everything, man. And we talked about these during practice, so it wasn't no surprise.
Pofele, what was your vantage point on what happened after the game between the two teams?
Oh, man, I think I was too emotional. I think I was sitting there just too down. Yeah, I was happy about everything, but I mean, I think it's just two teams passionate about it, you know what I mean, about the game, man. I think this is what bowl games is for, you know what I mean? We don't take it lightly, you know what I mean? This is a Super Bowl to us, so, you know what I mean? I think it's the biggest thing to go out there and just compete. So I think with those teams, with both of us, it was just competing, two teams competing, and no one likes to lose, so of course it was going to be like that.
What did it mean to see Nick bring in that touchdown? You've been with him for a while.
Exactly.
It's obviously been a tough year for him.
Yes,
What
sir.
did it mean to see him have that moment on the biggest stage?
Man, I think this is just the biggest thing that we just talked about in the hotel, man. This your last one, man. You know what I mean? Go do something just to remember it. And for him, he hasn't had the most memorable season because he's been battling with injuries, but I think his heart and his grind, his work ethic is always there, man. And that's the things that goes unseen throughout these Saturdays, you know? So, man, just for that right there, man, again, just God, man, just rewarding hard work. And I think that was the biggest play right there, just to put a message to all of us, man, that you can do this, man, regardless of what adversity you go to, man, go attack it. He's always going to be right there with you. So that was a great message right there, man. We sat there and cried about that, you know what I mean? So it was amazing.
And that was UH receiver Pofele Ashlock, again, earning the Hugh Yoshida MVP of the Sheraton Hawai'i Bowl, and just dropping quotes on top of quotes throughout that entire post game. And you could see how ecstatic he was of having that good game. And I loved what he said there, right, about it was always going to be a grind, right? Like, nothing in life comes easy. And that's part of what college sports is supposed to be about, is that you work to get to that next level and that opportunity and earn all these other spots and earn playing time and all of that stuff. So Pofele Ashlock, just a true reminder of what college sports and is supposed to be about, especially as things get really crazy. And then hence I go back to my soapbox I was on earlier with playing for Hawaii is different. Like, you are it is going to be a grind, but the payoff is just going to feel that much better. And just having coaches in there that look at you as an actual person and not just, oh, we're just going to throw you out there and you're just going to be a body and we're not going to care about you past your playing career. But happy for Pofele Ashlock with having the performance that he did to earn the Hugh Yoshida MVP of the Sheraton Hawai'i Bowl, because before Jackson Harris, there was Pofele Ashlock that we were always talking about a couple of seasons ago. And again, Jackson Harris coming in, being that highlight guy and coming in clutch. And Pofele has realized that he was kind of just he lost some of that confidence, and I'm not saying that's because of Jackson Harris. Like, he admitted it's like he just needed to go out there to prove to himself, not to anybody else, but Pofele saying he had to go prove to himself that he could still be that guy, and boy, he was. Again, 14 receptions, tying the Hawaii Bowl record with Jason Rivers, and 123 yards and 2 touchdowns, just the type of catches, like that one touchdown where he kind of caught it, turned, and make sure to be aware of the end zone, got it in there. Like, he was just so incredible, and I'm happy that he had the type of game that he was, and just to hear him afterwards say that he did lose a little bit of that confidence, and then to have that once again, to have that type of game was just outstanding. And then to add to that, Nick Senecal being, the number 2 receiver in that game, and we mentioned earlier catching that game-winning touchdown. Nick Senecal having 59 yards as well, and Carson Pupunu was 3rd on there. It's like all the people were talking about, like, well, Jackson Harris, again, wish him the best, but we got our guys. We got Nick Senecal is going to have we're just manifesting things here, Paul, as if nothing happens. But we were throwing out Nick Senecal, Pofele Ashlock, Carson Pupunu, 1, 2, 3.
Tell you people
there we
that
go.
We have cosmic powers. We try and use them for good as much as we can, but it doesn't always work. Most of the time it does, and this is an example of that. No, this was, I think, what a lot of people on the outside had imagined Hawaii would look like going into this season. A reminder for you, Hawaii had 2 first-team preseason All-Mountain West selections in the wide receiver room, and they were the 2 guys that led them in this game, in Pofele Ashlock, in Nick Senecal. It was Jackson Harris's breakout year, but as we were kind of hammering on going into the game, part of what made this Hawaii team so dangerous all year, and part of what made Jackson Harris so effective, is the fact that you can't just double or triple team one guy. You can't completely take one guy out of the game, because then you're going to have 2 or 3 other receivers who will absolutely kill you. And that's what we saw in this one, where Pofele, I mean, it's funny to say it, but it's vintage Pofele Ashlock, somebody who he'll death by 1,000 paper cuts you on short routes, and then all of a sudden rips off an incredible catch for 15, 20, 30 yards, and all of a sudden you're like, man, this guy, you just can't guard him. You can't stop him. Nick Senecal, I've said this before, by the way, and I said it, he's got the greatest smile I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Pofele might be number 2. Like, both of them have just incredible, like, genuine smiles that I'm like, wow. Like, are those real? Anyway, I couldn't be happier for him because, like we said, I mean, he's somebody who comes into the year with huge expectations. Like I said, preseason All Mountain West selection, and you can't predict injuries. You can't really, there's no control you have over injuries. And for his final year to be marred by them, only for him to get the opportunity to play hero on Christmas Eve in his final game as a Rainbow Warrior, I mean, it's as awesome as it gets. I couldn't be happier for the two of them. For Carson Popunu as well, who, I mean, the story, like you said to start the show, the storylined all throughout this one. It was truly, truly incredible. And it was fun to see Fele get his spark back a little bit, because you could see him go from one sorry, I'm like, what is the sound going on?
It's you.
It was fun to see him be the fun-loving Pofele Ashlock again. Not that he wasn't always that, but for him to have a little extra juice, it was really fun to see. And I'm excited to see what it turns into next year potentially as well, because by the way, we've given so much credit to Harry Ruliadev for sticking around for 4 years with the men's basketball program. If Fele really does stick around for next year, that's 5 years with the University of Hawaii, because he's a redshirt freshman and all that. That's as rare gets, it feels like, especially because, and this isn't to disparage other people, Pofele is an all-conference level player. He's that good. I'm sure he's had people knocking and banging down his door to try and get him to go other places. So if he does stick it out for all 5 years at the University of Hawaii, that's the type of guy who deserves to be celebrated. He shouldn't pay for another meal or drink here once his career finishes up.
Yeah, so shout out to Jackson Harris for
see ya.
letting our loyal guy Pofele Ashlock have that MVP night that he did. And also, and I mentioned this before, the fact that Jackson had announced his intention very early, so it gave this team a lot of running room to game plan without Jackson Harris. Paul got a new Apple Watch, and now it's going all crazy.
I don't know what's going on.
Looking at this text, speaking of the MVP award, said, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Yoshida and what he's done for the university, but I kind of chuckled when I saw him present the Hugh Yoshida MVP trophy with his likeness. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before. It was really cute. The fun fact, my teacher in high school was David Yoshida, who is Hugh Yoshida's son, so I kind of have that tie-in. And he was my history teacher, and I used to give him a lot of hard time in history class in high school at Mililani. So shout out to Mr. Yoshida, my teacher from Mililani, who I still see at games because he's there with his dad as well. So it's kind of funny to think about. Let's see, our friend in the desert saying, obviously Rolo didn't watch Alabama rallies versus OU or Oklahoma. 2 minutes is a lot for 3 points. Ching Field looks good. Hawaii Tourism Authority and Hawaii Bowl trophy needs to be like the CFP. I'm like, hey, after that, yeah. That was our college football championship
awesome.
For sure. It was what college football as a whole, and we saw all the reactions on social media, still seeing all of it, especially on Twitter, that is what the life that college football and college football fans needed to be injected with in the middle of all of this craziness and everyone talking about the disparity between the G4 or P4, G6, yada, yada, yada. Well, you get to Hawaii coming out with the same amount of wins as a few ACC teams against ACC opponents, and then more wins than a couple of teams in Boston College and Syracuse, more wins than they had against ACC opponents. So Hawaii, top of the ACC, let's go. But again, proving that, hey, just because you chose the right conference doesn't mean you should get a free pass. Anyways, before we get into that, I'm going to take a break. We'll be right back on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Wake Up in the Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to all of you, the beautifulest of all the beautiful people. It's Wake Up in the Den. I'm sure you guys are up by now for our pom-pom party that we're having on this Aloha Friday. Hule Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM, AM 760, hawaiisportsradio.com, and streaming live on our YouTube channel, normally every single Monday. But every now and then we have special live streams like we had to today for our pom-pom party, a celebratory party for this UH football season and that comeback victory over Cal in the Hawaii Bowl. A 21-point deficit to beat the Golden Bears 35-31 in a game-winning touchdown from Luke Weaver to Nick Senecal of all connections.
Brother-in-law.
I mean, yeah, what a game. Everything about it is just... we will talk about this forever, and as you were mentioning, there was like more storylines. You had mentioned it earlier with so the 21 points ties a Hawaii Bowl deficit comeback in 2007 against Washington.
Hawaii
but then,
program record. You said Hawaii Bowl record.
Well, I think that one is, or was it the third?
This is a Hawaii Bowl record, biggest comeback in Hawaii Bowl history. This ties the biggest comeback in UH history against Washington in 2007 and Michigan State in 2004.
Okay, see, that's where I got confused because the game notes only has the Washington game, but there was one in, the 2004 versus Michigan State.
Right here. 21-point comeback is tied for the largest comeback in UH history, also versus Washington in 2007 and versus Michigan State in 2004, and the largest in UH's postseason history, per the game notes from UH themselves. The Hawaii Bowl post-game notes does not have
Got
that.
it.
That has just the 21-point
There you
Hawaii
go.
comeback is the largest comeback in the history of the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. This is what happens when they send us too many post-game notes.
I'm like, wait a minute, what is this game notes? That one only has Washington, and then it's like, okay. Anyways, iconic. But I want to kind of talk about some of maybe the underrated plays, Paul, just real quick, because like we said, we'll remember some of these really big plays, including that game-winning touchdown and everything like that, and Pofele Ashlock with his 2 touchdowns, and just little things that happen. But I did want to mention, and I'll kick this to you real quick, probably one of the plays that I look back on that will maybe go under the radar, so that's what we're kind of talking about here, and then maybe some people forget, and all of the glory that the Hawaii Bowl was, maybe some of the things that I look back on and I'm like, man, that was a really key part in the game that maybe will be overlooked, and I want to make sure we mention it here because this is when Hawaii's comeback was starting towards the ending of the second quarter, and then this is the blocked punt that happened. So Hawaii, again, special teams. I wanted to text you guys because on that show, right, I wore like the special teams shirt that morning. I'm like, special teams gonna come up big, and in my mind I was thinking it's going to be even bigger than Kansei Matsuzawa. Something's going to happen where special teams shows up for something major, and that's what happened. They got the block punt, ended up getting the ball at the Cal 32, didn't have to go very far, and then Kansei Matsuzawa hits a 29-yard field goal to cut that deficit, again, bring Hawaii to the 10 points and only go into the halftime trailing by 11. And I'm like, man, this is going to be a very, very important play because, I mean, we don't know if Hawaii would have been able to get that far regardless, but when you put yourself into that really good field position, I like the chances, especially when you have a kicker like Kansei Matsuzawa who can hit it from far. So that was probably one of the plays that I wanted to make sure we mention here today that might be overlooked or forgotten that happened during the game. But from the block punt to Hawaii being able to get at least far enough to make it a comfortable field goal attempt for Kansei Matsuzawa. And once again, a beautiful snap by Jack Maury and hold by Caleb Freeman. And Hawaii gets those 3 much-needed points to continue their chip away to that 21-point deficit. And again, only trailing by 11 going into the halftime, where it felt like at one point, it was going to be a rough one and a long night for Hawaii fans. But definitely that block punt I wanted to make sure we mentioned. And then, of course, tapped off and finished off by the Kansei making that 29-yard field goal. What is one of the plays, doesn't necessarily have to be a scoring plays, but one of the big plays that maybe you look back on that you don't want to be forgotten that happened during that game, Paul?
I mean, one, I'm glad you bring up the blocked punt because, by the way, that's Reese Weber's first ever statistic for the University of Hawaii. Tackle, pass broken up, whatever it may be. Came in the biggest moment, perhaps, of his career. So that was...
He's got the scout player of the...
Kailua alum and all those things. So that was very, very cool. Before that, there was a pass broken up that set up, that forced the punt. The big one for me that will stick in my mind that ultimately gave the opportunity for Hawaii to tie this game was Lester Longafuaina getting home on 4th down and 9 when Cal went for it out just past midfield a little bit when it was 21-13, third quarter kind of trickling down. And if Cal gets a field goal right there, then Hawaii maybe never ties the game. And if they never tie the game, then maybe they never come back to win it anyway, because ultimately after that, it gets the possession back for Hawaii. They drive down the field to close down the third quarter. In the fourth, they open it up with the touchdown to Pofele, the 2-point conversion, underhand flip to Cam Barfield to tie the game at 21. None of that happens if Leicester and the defensive line don't get home on that 4th down and 9. That was the one that really ends up sticking out to me where, I mean, if that doesn't happen, Cal, once again, probably they convert on 4th down and 9. They're able to continue sopping up some more of that clock. They add more points to the board, whether it's a touchdown, whether it's a field goal, whatever. The defense really, really stepped up, and that was the moment where I was like, oh, Hawaii might come back and win this thing. Like, that was the moment where it went from, oh, they could probably, make this interesting to, this is going to turn into a really, really fun finish.
Oh, my gosh. Shout out to that shovel pass, though. I saw a lot of college football world talking about that specifically with that 2-point conversion because it was good thing our quarterback is a lefty because he tossed it underhand with his but it was like a weird, not your usual, the outside flick that you see most shovel passes.
Very strange.
It was like a tossing like a softball, like, here you go, like, let me just, but the way that it left his hand and how quickly it got into Cam Barfield's hands, the whole play was interesting, and if you guys can go back and watch the highlight, it wasn't your typical shovel pass that you're used to seeing. So it made its rounds on Twitter because everyone's like, what is this shovel pass? And then, of course, that was the 2-point conversion worthy. So I'm glad you brought that up because that was another, just the way that the shovel pass was done by Micah Alihado stood out in its own right because it's not the stereotypical shovel pass. The style in which that it usually happens was done. So everything. There were so many little points, but I'm glad we could at least share a couple of that maybe. And they're not saying that nobody will remember these, but I wanted to make sure, all right, let's mention some of these significant portions of this game. Again, trying to give our true analysis here as we're just all over the place with celebrating all the awesomeness that was this year's Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. And what a way to cap off the season and cap off 2025. And I joke about it the entire show about telling the whole damn world this is Bogue territory, but that's what it felt like all over social media. I mean, the jokes were flowing and joking about Cal and more specifically about the P4, P6 debates that have been happening, but everyone is just, wow, look at this Hawaii team. Thank you to Hawaii and as you mentioned, as Cal, for giving us the much needed game that a lot of football fans needed, the only game in town. There was I thought the refs were fine. I think it was an evenly called game, nothing crazy. Luckily, Hawaii didn't get bit in the Okole too hard with not being able to line up accordingly. Oh, man. Was that 3 straight penalties, I think, for... oh, man.
It elicited some inappropriate words from me. I'll say that. It's frustrating.
It didn't amount to anything that was detrimental to the final result, but it was funny because the Sickles committee had tweeted, the refs in the Hawaii Bowl are from the MAC. Every time it cuts to one of them, it looks like they're having the greatest Christmas a Midwestern dad could have possibly have.
Yeah.
I guess a son of one of those refs had retweeted that and said, can confirm my Midwest dad had a great time.
Oh, that's actually really funny.
So and it was someone pointed out to this, and I got to go back and see it when I watch the game again. that Brandon, I think it was the Brandon White touchdown where they call it no touchdown, and then people were freaking out, just like myself too, and I'm sure some other inappropriate words from Paul as well about it being a touchdown. But I guess the ref kind of gave like a smirk, like a little chuckle, like we're gonna review it. Like it's just kind of like.
It's funny.
They were having the greatest time. Also, this other tweeted via JMU Game Day, Hawaii didn't make the Mountain West Championship game, beat 2 ACC teams this year. Don't tell the G6 that we can't compete with P4 teams. And again, why should teams like Stanford, UCF, Cal, Syracuse, Northwestern be eligible for the CFP, but JMU, Tulane, Boise State, and others shouldn't be? FBS is FBS. Yeah! Tell the whole world that we are here to stay, and it's Bow territory. We should just host the national championship game here and put Hawaii in, and then then we're going to win.
You should just put Hawaii in.
I mean that's what they're doing. They're like, let's just put the schools in. I was going to say,
realistically speaking, that's more or less what people are asking for with the committee. They're, let these people, let me on the committee. I will put together the most compelling argument for Hawaii, and that will be, please, 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 please.
And, national championship favorites in Ohio State. I tweeted about this and add some more context to my tweet because
property.
Yeah, Hawaii beat Cal, and we know that Cal had that upset over SMU. So I was curious, like, all right, I went down a little quick schedule looking up, and SMU beat Miami, who is also in the CFP. But Miami during the season beat Texas A&M, and Texas A&M has a matchup coming up in the CFP against Ohio State. So I did like the little emoji, like the thinking emoji. So we'll see what happens. Should Texas A&M be able to come out with an upset over Ohio State, then you know what? Hawaii, national champions. Transitive property at full slate, and we will take it that, hey, Hawaii should be in the CFP because so-and-so beat so-and-so beat so-and-so beat so-and-so.
That's what the SEC gets to say all the time. The SEC is like, oh, you can ignore these losses because, look, we played these teams who beat these teams. Put Hawaii in. All I'm hearing, Hawaii should get, not only should Hawaii be in, Hawaii should have gotten one of the byes. Clearly.
It'll be like, I know this will never happen, so bear with us, folks. We're having a good time this morning.
We're having fun. It's Friday.
There'll be the alternate team. If for whatever reason Texas A&M cannot show up for against Ohio State, Hawaii should be the one, because based on transitive property, Hawaii should be facing Ohio State right now because they beat the trickle down, and
Amen.
They beat Texas A&M, so Hawaii should be in there. But no, it was a fun time looking, and I'm still going through a lot of the fun stuff that we see on Twitter and the Reddit CFB saying the Hawaii TD was caught by a receiver from Montreal, Canada. Their kicker is from Japan. Hawaii football is all about combing the world for what it takes
global.
To scrap together a team that can win games. Yes, sir. If anything, we can definitely scrap. Man, Cal was just 0 for 3 that night.
It was a brutal night to be a Bear. That's for sure.
They even tried to, not try. They did false crack one of our players, and they still won that second brawl.
Yeah, but that guy, even Cal fans were like, that guy's a scumbag. We don't
claim him.
We do not claim him. Overall, and I will say this before we go to break, I don't really hold much animosity for the fight. To me, I think that's, I don't want to be like, that's football, but
no.
It was nice to see. To me, that's two teams who care.
Yeah.
And two teams who really wanted to win, and sometimes emotions boil over. And at the end of the day, whatever.
And again, you could tell by Timmy's reaction in the post game too. He was like,
yeah, he kind of said it more or less.
Yeah, he's like, yep, that's just what happens. And then even the on-field video that we mentioned where he looked back at them fighting, and he's like, oh, okay.
I hope somebody breaks that up.
It ain't gonna be me. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll be back to close it out here on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network.
Den with Ku'ulei Agbayani on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Agbayani and Paul Brecht on the Hawai'i Sports Radio Network. Closing it out here on this Aloha Friday. Victory Friday, celebrating an iconic Sheraton Hawaii Bowl victory for your Rainbow Warriors, but also just an overall amazing season for head coach Timmy Chang, the best season of his career so far. We're going to expect more bigger and better seasons, but this is the start. This was the turnaround that everybody was waiting for, and it came at the perfect time. Before we kind of close it out, I do want to make sure we remind you guys that tomorrow, for all of you Kansei Matsuzawa fans, it is Aloha to Kansei tomorrow at the High Life store at South Shore Market in Ward Village. So Kansei will be there. He will be signing autographs. You can also get this special edition shirt that says 2025 Kicker of the Year, Tokyo Toe, and it actually has a little area on the shirt that Kansei Matsuzawa can sign as well. So you guys can come out there. These will be available, again, limited edition Kansei Matsuzawa new Tokyo Toe t-shirts. You can also go to the website to get tokyotoe.com to get other merch, but he will be there. I just got word that Itsuki Takemoto is also going to stop by for all of you baseball fans, and he'll be available. He's going to support his friend Kansei, and then also be available for any fans that do want to get photos or autographs from Itsuki as well. So you'll have them, again, tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Once again, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Aloha to Kansei at High Life Store and South Shore Market, and that's located in Ward Village. Lots of parking available, so we'll see you guys out there tomorrow. And man, it's just been, again, this is his final public appearance before he chases his NFL dreams, and we don't know when you'll be able to see him again because he's going to be kind of busy being a professional. So this is the last time, and Kansei has always been so gracious with his time, and man, what an incredible week. This show flew by the last couple of hours. It's just been, and I feel like we're going to keep talking about this even through Monday. I feel like there's probably some stuff that we forgot or failed to mention, and then I'll just be like, oh, we forgot to mention this, and then talk about it tomorrow on Monday, because as we transition slowly into basketball / men's volleyball season that's starting up next week.
It's crazy, isn't it? Like, all of this excitement, all of this fun, I want to continue celebrating, and we will. But man, oh man, we've got more to celebrate, more to cover, more to continue with. Basketball will be back, volleyball continuing on, or I guess starting up, and just 106 other things. Plus, you can always stick with us in case you love our D2 coverage, our OIA coverage.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot coming up in the new year. And plus, we're going to talk about the Hawaii Bowl even more, because that's just what we do.
Yep, Hawaii Bowl even more, and other things, just football in general. Now there is some other football games going on, even though the most important one is all done. But like I said, jokingly, we'll be the alternate team. And if Texas A&M beats Ohio State, Hawaii could beat Ohio State. And I'm going to be obnoxious with tweeting about that if Texas A&M somehow beats Ohio State.
I'm going to be obnoxious tweeting anyway. I'll just be even more obnoxious tweeting in case that happens. You know, just don't give me an opportunity to be extra obnoxious, because I will take the opportunity. That is the New York in me. That is the New York. I will not show you aloha in that. I will show you quite the opposite.
By the way, something else we didn't mention either. You know, we say it all the time. Good teams win, great teams cover, and Hawaii
did both.
Hawaii and the over hit on, and because they covered that very tiny 1.5 point spread. Again, I'm not sure what it closed at, but they still, last numbers we looked at, they did both. Hawaii and clearly went over in that game against Cal. And I think, I wish I wrote it down, but I know our friend Tim Murray at VSiN posted the exact record so far, especially under Timmy Chang, on Hawaii's ability to cover the spread. Like, they have a very, very good record against the spread. So shout out Timmy for winning both on and off the football field, for all of our friends that celebrate that as well. Not the friends that Paul had that had too many beverages too early on and fell asleep.
Yeah,
but nice Christmas present, though, like you said, that they woke up to winning tickets.
They woke up to a winning ticket. It was an even better Christmas than they could have asked for, I think.
I thought it was over. And then
at the end of the day, it just goes to show you having faith in the University of Hawaii football team will eventually pay off, even if you fall asleep.
Ending the show with a couple of tweets I see here as Hawaii Football tweeted it from other national people. Ryan McGee from ESPN saying, this is about Timmy Chang. I love this man not as much as this man loves his alma mater. True statement. Someone, Adam Rittingbird from ESPN. Timmy Chang, what a season. Begins with the win over Stanford, ends with a bowl win over Cal. Dude can freaking coach. Let's go.
Amen.
Is it next football season yet? Oh, well, we got to wait for a while. Anyways, we got to wrap it up here on this Aloha Friday. Hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Thank you for joining us on air and on our YouTube channel. We'll be back on YouTube on Monday. But for Paul Brecht, I'm Ku'ule Agbayani. Mahalo for listening and watching. It's been Wake Up in the Den. Have a good weekend. Bye.
KGU AM.